Hi guys, and welcome back to another Starcraft Broodwar Pro replay cast, as we have spawning here in the lower right in the teal, I believe it is, I30, but this is of course the AK from Anytime, the pro South Korean player, and his opponent here at a 12 o'clock position in the grey. It is SZIKY from Hungary, as I believe, and he's also joined the clan Mouse here, the German clan, I believe. A very known pro gamer plan in the South Korean, in the Starcraft scene, and also in the Warcraft 3 scene. So yeah, nice job by him. I believe this game has been played in 2023, so not that recently, but it is of course a nice pro game from the international scene, as we are spawning here on a 3 spawning location map. I believe it's called Daytime, and yeah, we see of course the intentions here from the South Korean player into securing his expansion. I believe it's going to be a fast expansion gameplay here by him. Luckily here for SZIKY's Overlord heading straight into the correct direction. Same can be said here for Anytime, and we also see SZIKY do the drone trick. I believe he has went for an extractor and then cancelled it as he has less population now here. His Overlord is out, more drones are getting produced. Lucky scout here by Anytime, as he's going to be a little bit annoying, but yeah, SZIKY nicely reacting, already dealing damage in towards those shields by the probes. Let's check the main, of course, only the pylon out. I believe he could go straight for fast expansion, but this will of course force SZIKY into going into a spawning pool. Yes indeed, there is his reaction. Spawning pool first by him, no fast expansion intentions yet, at least, as the Overlord is coming in here forward. The probe, I believe, is going to be forced away. Of course, SZIKY wants to defend this spawning pool, but now he's coming back, so this is a very important move by Anytime. He should be able to secure his expansion if he sees of course the spawning pool, and SZIKY tried with another drone to block this probe, but yeah, in the end he arrives here, he sees the spawning pool. So let's have a look at his reaction. He's still of course producing now the forge, and there is expansion. The main should of course have no buildings, and he is very likely going to add a cannon or two here into this location, as the forge is very likely going to be finished very soon. We see the first Zerglings. The probe is nicely seeing everything here. I believe he's even going to try to buy some time with this one probe, just to lure the Zerglings away from the expansion point. There it is, and we actually see a gateway here for Anytime, and finally there is his cannon into this location. So a good response here by Anytime. There come the Zerglings. The probe of course is going to try to buy some time, perhaps to lure the Zerglings a little bit away, but SZIKY not reacting to that. He's just trying to go for a surround, and now he's very likely going to try to go for the fast expansion, but the cannon should of course finish in time. There's a second cannon into this location, there's the expansion, and yeah, in come the Zerglings, but they're a little bit too late, as gas is also getting produced now here by the Protoss. There's the expansion. Let's check his main, pretty normal, also gas being mined. SZIKY sadly is not going to be able to deal damage here, as the first cannon is already shooting at the Zerglings, so good timing reaction by him. SZIKY committing sadly and losing yet another Zergling or two here, as I believe he's just going to straight retreat. The probe is still alive, of course. This probe very important. He might scout this location here. SZIKY is trying to defend it, trying to stop the probe from coming towards that location, but it looks like Anytime with a very nice move. He knows of course the timing from the Zerglings, and he sees the expansion point here. So yeah, in the end SZIKY is going to try to somehow surround this annoying probe, this scouting probe here from Anytime. But yeah, it's a very good micro here by the South Korean player, but hold on, now he finally might get some good shots here. Of course, the probe taking more and more damage, as he of course wants to see the timer from the tier 2, and luckily here for Anytime he's making it forward. SZIKY is trying to spread those Zerglings, trying to inflict more damage, and yeah, good micro like I told you here from the South Korean player, but in the end he will of course be cancelled. And there's the tier 2. Are we going to be seeing some lurkers, or are we going to be seeing some Mutalisk? We're about to find out. In case there's Mutalisk, of course the Protoss do have that Stargate with the Corsairs, and some Dragoons are also very good. And we actually see the first unit being produced here by the Protoss, so interesting enough, only now he's going for the first Zealot and second Zealot. We see a Spire now for the Zerg, a nice hidden Spire here into this location, so it's going to be Mutalisk. And interesting here for Anytime, he doesn't know about this. He's sending another probe, another scouting probe here towards the base from the Zerg, and he's very likely going to see this one spire here, so a lucky move out here by him. Settle here for SZIKY. He wasn't able to stop the scout, so the reaction should be prompt by the Protoss. There is his Stargate and yet another Stargate being produced, so anytime being prepared for anything is getting thrown towards him. Nice job, as some Zerglings are just moving forward, but the Protoss nicely defended here with the Zealots in the front and the cannons in the back. So Corsairs, of course, 2 or 3 Corsairs, very strong versus a group of Mutalisks. And yeah, let's have a look. It could be another hatchery here by SZIKY. No Hydras then. Yeah, there is the Hydras then, so we might have a transition into some Hydras, into some Lurkers very soon, as the Corsair is nicely moving here out on the map, snapping the first Overlord. This one is trying to hide away, but yeah, the first kill here for the Protoss is of course going to be one Overlord. And yeah, let's have a look what exactly SZIKY is going for. More and more Overlords are getting produced. We see Weapons 1 being produced, more and more Corsairs for the Protoss, as is also moving out here, and we see the first Scourges actually being produced, as the Corsair dealing more and more damage. So sadly here for SZIKY, he has got a little bit of guard. He doesn't have hide risk, so what a mistake here by the pro player from Hungary. Not a very good move here by him. He is going to be very far behind. He's going to try to go into a spore, but yeah, unluckily here for him, another Overlord is spawning straight towards the Corsair. Finally one Corsair is getting snapped, but yeah, 2 of them are still remaining, and lots of kills. 4 Overlords have been snapped, and finally SZIKY reacting with some Hydroblisk. I believe it should be Hydroblisk very soon for him, as the Corsair have done their job. SZIKY sadly a little bit behind, being supply block, and the Protoss even feeling confident to move out with his Zealots. And here, let's have a look. There should be some Sunkens. Yes, indeed, there are Sunkens. I believe the plan from SZIKY was here to add more and more of those Scourges to deal damage towards the Corsairs. But yeah, Hydroblisk would have been a much better idea, and if you ask me. Look at the Corsairs even being able to snipe all of those Scourges. So yeah, the strength of the air power here from the Protoss, as he's moving out with his Zealots and with his Corsairs, and he might snipe once again Overlords. And SZIKY with some Hydroblisk, and he should be able to also take out a Corsair or 2, but more and more damage towards that supply is being done, as there's more and more of those Corsairs in the air. And we can see now how good the Hydroblisk are versus the Corsairs. Much better than the Scourges. And finally he tried to attack here, but there were Hydroblisk and Sunkens defending this, so the Protoss needs to think about something else. He's adding another cannon. Let's check his main. Transitioning into more and more of those gateway units. We might see Dragoons, we might see High Temper Storms. Could there be a Reaver also here added by the Protoss? We're about to find out. As we can see indeed Ironic Storm and legs are being upgraded. We also see some upgrades here for the Zerg, as we see once again the Corsairs really dealing damage here against the Zerg, killing Overlord after Overlord. So yeah, a little bit of a behind now here from SZIKY versus his opponent. He's going to try to perhaps do a timing push with massive amounts of Zerglings with Hydroblisk, as we see once again here SZIKY caught off guard. Good splash damage with the Scourges, but yeah, another Overlord has been snapped, and once again SZIKY has been supply blocked, so he needs to be sure to make those Overlords straight here where the Hydroblisk are to defend them, and yet another one is getting snapped. So quite a hard first early game here by SZIKY versus so many Corsairs in the air. I believe it's around 5, no, actually 6 here for the Protoss, as he might try to snipe yet another unit. But SZIKY this time quickly to respond, and he's actually moving out with his units into the other expansion point, but the Protoss did leave some Zealots here on the ground, and he should be able to take care of this. Legs should be finished really soon, as the Hydroblisk are getting nicely surrounded now by the Zealots, but the Hydroblisk should also be faster, and if they're kited nicely back and forward, we also see yet another attack with the Corsairs. So SZIKY and both players actually nicely microing their units here. The legs have been finished, so SZIKY has to retreat. His Corsairs are still in the air, still trying to snipe the Overlords. And yeah, good job here by the Protoss defending his expansion point, moving out now with massive amounts of Zealots just to snap the Overlords. Speed has been done. Zealots are moving forward. I don't know if this is a good position, but the Sunken is dealing so much damage. The Corsairs also taking quite some damage, so A good storm now being added by the Protoss, but he's taking lots and lots of casualties here as more and more zealots are pouring forward, but lots of damage has also been taken here by the Protoss, and the reinforcements are spawning here for the Zerg, as it's just the Protoss just sacrificing more and more of those units. Finally the reinforcements are pouring in, and yeah, quite an interesting trade. I believe the Zerg now in favor for him. Also, all those Corsairs have been sniped. Some Overrisk have been sniped here as well. And we finally see now SZIKY going for those lurkers, so he should be fine. The Protoss pretty much sacrificing a lot of his units. I believe he just did that to buy more time for his expansions. So it's a 3-base Protoss versus a 3-base Zerg. Of course, the advantage is here for the Protoss, but he did lose quite some great amount of his units, and now there's lurkers on the ground, and those lurkers could be the game changer here for SZIKY, as they deal so much splash damage towards those units. Here we do have an answer with the high templar storms versus high risk versus lurkers, but there's so many lurkers here for SZIKY, as he should be able to take control of the middle of the map. Might even try a drop with some overlords. Let's have a look. This of course should be his next target, or perhaps this target here. The expansion points indeed are going to be the next target here for the Zerg, as anytime tries to snap this, and in comes the attack. The lurkers getting slowly but steadily buried, but there are many cannons here, and one cannon might get sniped here just on power everything. Would be an option here for the Zerg, as he's sniping unit after unit, and the lurkers give great cover in the back, and here we go, he's attacking the cannons actually. The lurkers are moving forward, but yeah, he's going to retreat a little bit. I believe he's fearing some storms versus his units, so he's deciding to play it safe, as he's just going to add more and more of those units. He also needs to stay back into protecting his units, his overlords. Actually he doesn't, but as there are no more Corsairs being produced now by the Protoss, so his overlords finally should be fine. As now the Protoss is moving out with 3 high templars. Remember, 1 high templar can add 2 storms, very deadly against the Zerg, very deadly against the high risk especially. And yeah, let's have a look what's going to happen. The Protoss might get surrounded very soon, as there are units here into this location, and from the back still the Protoss decides to move out with his units. There is an observer, of course, much needed observer here for the Protoss. Like I told you, he's very likely going to get surrounded, but he needs to be careful against the lurkers. So good job, good defensive storm by him, as I believe he was going to try to snipe this small group of units here. He's going to try to snipe the overlord and just regroup with his reinforcements. Let's just check the upgrades really quick. We have 2 weapons upgrades for him, the Zerg with 1 weapons upgrade. And it's a nice cat and mouse gameplay now here by both players, but in the end the Protoss doing a nice strategic move, just reinforcing his army with more and more units, with more and more dragoons and zealots. And we do see the high templars in the back here as well, and we might see a small attack in the middle of the map. A good spread here by SZIKY. Notice how he's spreading all of his high risk against the storms. Finally 1 storm has been added. Dragoons also very good versus the high risk. The zealots are in the front exactly where they should be, and SZIKY is actually now taking more and more damage out of the storms, out of the dragoons. And the reinforcements are pouring in, but there is a nice move here by Protoss, once again adding more and more of those storms. And this is what I told you, how deadly storm can be versus the Zerg, as some reinforcements are pouring in forward for the Zerg, but there are still lots and lots of units here for the Protoss, and a great storm once again being casted by him. He has the high ground, he has many observers in the air, and reinforcements also pouring in here forward for him. But this expansion point here might be the saving grace here for the Zerg, as more and more units are getting produced here, and we even see some lurkers now once again being produced by the Zerg, but a little bit of a mismicro here by him. He's being detected, but he's also nicely getting surrounded here by the Zerg, as some Zerglings have been added. So SZIKY pretty much trying to throw everything he has versus the Protoss. At the same time, a great storm, great answer here by the Protoss versus his opponent, as lots and lots of dragoons are getting spread out on the map, but the Zerglings will be a great answer against so many dragoons. And here we see with another good storm, a defensive storm this time, and even Archons are now getting produced. So yeah, a fair trade in the end, but perhaps a small advantage here for the Protoss, especially with the high templar storm. But now I believe he's going to regroup. His reinforcements are exactly on time, and the Archon now dealing splash damage against so many units, but his shields are falling. And yeah, looks like the Protoss now in control of this middle of the map, and I believe he's going to very likely go straight into the newly established expansion points here from the Zerg. So yeah, in comes the Protoss. He has his expansion defendant. He has lots and lots of units, but there's so many Sunkens here on the ground for the Zerg. Sadly, no lurkers here for him. I believe I don't see any lurkers. The reinforcements are moving forward and to try to get the goods around us. Zealots are dealing great splash damage. And yeah, lurkers tried of course to burrow there, but yeah, in the end the Protoss finally taking control of this base, newly established base. There is an observer in the air, so he should be fine. Even the drones have to be pulled here, and the reinforcements straight on time here for the Protoss once again. There's of course a 3 base Protoss, actually a 4 base now, as we even have this base here pretty much in control now versus the bases from the Zerg. This of course has to be the GG here for SZIKY. A very nice game here by both players, in the end being taken here by the Protoss. And yeah, good job here for both players. Nice APM by both players. Let's check the stats really quick. Once again, I'm going to be clicking left and right. Yeah, very interesting game, but the Protoss not being punished with his expansions by SZIKY, and the first sloppy start here by SZIKY, as those Corsairs were really deadly against those Overlords. So this has brought SZIKY a little bit back in the game. I believe if it was for Hydras first for SZIKY, the outcome would have been different by him, as Scourges versus Corsairs we've seen aren't really a great answer. So I believe in the next game he might go Hydras first to defend his Overlords. And yeah, I believe the outcome, like I told you, would have been far different like this one. But yeah, in the end, the macro game for the Protoss, of course, really deadly against the Zerg in the late game, especially Storms and the Dragoons and the Zealots with upgrades, of course. Yeah, nice game once again from the pro international scene. I hope you guys enjoyed. See you in the next replays. This is Tommy signing out.